the topic I wanted to, it's kind of related but not related, is leaders, right? You're a leader, Asad's a leader. All men are leaders in a sense because we have to be leaders for our household, for our spouse and kids, for our parents as they get older. In the community, men are leaders. But there's a hadith, Asad, you can, if you know it, you could tell me, but I might be butchering it. But it talks. Prophet ﷺ says there will come a time where the leaders will be weak. Is that correct?
I don't. That's
No?
that's. It's not really much for me to go off.
I'm a layman.
Yeah.
I've heard that hadith before. I'm gonna look it up and put it in the description if I can find it. But that kind of makes me think about leaders and public figures. They're not perfect, right?
That's right.
They make mistakes. They sin. Like we look at people like I don't want to keep bringing in Andrew Tate, but like I'm gonna be honest. Andrew Tate helped me with certain aspects, like he kept saying like stop crying, do the work. Nobody cares what you think.
Yeah.
And that
your feelings.
yeah, like just be a man,
Mm-hmm.
But then there's there's certain things like I can't agree with, like his approach, his character. And I know he's a man. He makes mistakes. He sins. So I can't look at him as a role model.
Mm-hmm.
And then even with Muslim leaders, you'll find a lot of times things come out,
Yeah.
and then if they're past or they get exposed or whatever, and people are not very forgiving.
Mm-hmm.
They keep they don't overlook somebody's mistake. And I think we need to, as a community, because I've been seeing it a lot in the online Muslim community. We need to stop judging people too much and forgive them, and look at the good in the Muslim community. The topic I had written down was about this streamer named Neon. You know Neon?
Mm-mm.
Okay, yeah, I'm with the
You're
Gen
watching
Z.
too much Rumble or something.
Yeah. Well, no, it's Kick.
Okay.
But I don't watch the stream, by the way. It's DJing content. Like it's this kid. I don't want to get too into it, but
Okay.
he makes DJing content.
Okay.
He's like 19, 20 years old. He's Desi, and he just he's on this website called Kick, which is basically backed by a gambling company, Stake. So he's committing sin openly. Basically, he does a lot of sins. I don't want to.
Is this a Muslim guy or no?
He's Muslim by name.
Okay. Or is he
He identifies as Muslim.
Is that a thing though? Yeah, identifies as Muslim.
I just whatever they say.
Yeah.
No, it's like people can
Yeah.
identify as Muslim now.
Yeah.
It's like a thing now.
It's
Yeah.
judgment though. Really, under that is judgment. We're past judgment. If he says he's Muslim, Allah.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna get into. Is
Yeah.
like he calls himself Muslim. He says he's a believer, and a lot of kids watch him. He has millions of followers.
Mm-hmm.
Young kids watch him. They relate to him. They look up to him, and he's not the best role model. He's committing sin publicly, doing a lot of haram acts on stream. So my thing is I basically defended him. Right, this is gonna sound crazy, but not really crazy. But once I give context, but he did a stream with this other Muslim creator, and that Muslim creator is an older guy in New York, and he basically took him to the masjid, and they did salah, they made wudu, and I thought that was a great thing. He's a large audience.
Yeah.
There for the first time, his audience is seeing him pray salah,
That's good. Beautiful.
and
That's all.
the brother didn't know how to do wudu, which is
okay.
it's okay, right? And the comments on this Instagram post were going in on him, like fake Muslim, I'm sure his stream was going in on him too. And I made a comment that got like about 2,000 likes, and I said, all I said was, don't shame the brother, just teach him.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of responses on that where everyone was like, no, he should know this. he's a fake Muslim. He he has a girlfriend. This da 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 da. And like, my thing is, there's a lot of Muslims like this where they're inborn Muslim families. They don't know how to pray. They don't know how to do wudu. They only go to Eid namaz. That doesn't mean we judge them and be like, you're fake Muslim. We have to have compassion and like the Prophet ﷺ and how he acted, and teach them and be kind and not shame them, right? Obviously, if he's committing sin openly, we have to address that. And but if he's doing something like praying salah on stream, be like, bro, you need to do more of these streams. We want more,
Yes.
But obviously the Haram police online, they're like, fake Muslim. So, like, what's your thoughts on it? Like the Haram police, and I'll go with Asad first. Like, do we need to stop judging people, right? Like,
So on Saturdays there's this halaqah. We're a part of it. Some of us friends.
We should. I wanted to say that too, just for myself and
Yeah.
we should translate for our audience because they don't know the words.
Yeah. This is like a gathering. It's online, and this with like a spiritual scholar, and he was saying this the other day. He was like, if you find yourself you're doing really good in the religion, if somebody's doing lesser than you, don't judge them. Don't think you're better than them. Just try to find the flaws within your own deeds, and don't judge them. Make dua for them, make prayer for them that they do better. And when you were talking about judgment, and I was looking before for what you had mentioned before, but this is something I always talk about, and I love this. Abdullah ibn Utbah radiallahu anhu reported, Umar bin Khattab, Umar the second Khalifa, may Allah be pleased with him, said, verily people were judged by revelation in the time of the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him. And the revelation has ceased. We only judge now what is manifested outwardly of your deeds. Whoever shows us good, we will trust him and bring him close. It is not for us to judge anything of his inner secrets. Allah will hold him accountable for his inner secrets. Whoever shows us evil, we will never trust him or believe him, even if it is said his intentions are good. And this is found in Sahih Bukhari. This is not a hadith, but it is a saying of Hadrat Umar radiallahu anhu, the second Khalifa. So one thing is, if somebody is doing something bad, we should judge the bad deed. If we have the opportunity and we know the person, or we know somebody who knows the person, we're able to address him and tell him what they're doing is not liked, it's not a good act, we should try to let them know. And if we can't let them know, we let somebody else let them know. Somebody from their friend circle who has a moral compass. And still, if they don't get the message, then we should try to, I'm not saying disassociate with them, but keep our distance. Because we don't want to end up in some sort of a circle where we're doing the same things they're doing, which we were finding despicable before, but now we're involved in them. So you have to be careful about that. At the same time, we don't want to, be spreading it in the community. Oh, look at this guy, he's so bad. Don't hang out with them. Just mind your own business. Try to make yourself a better person. Try to find a group of brothers at the masjid. We spoke about this before. Try to find a group of brothers at the masjid, or try to find a group of brothers who maybe they go to the masjid but they hang out somewhere else, right? At a good place. I'm not saying a bad place. They hang out somewhere else. They sit together for the sake of brotherhood and try to make each other better. Sitting for the sake of brotherhood and making each other better doesn't mean that we have a 3-hour gathering where we just read the books of the sayings of the Prophet ﷺ and read the explanation of the Quran and stuff like that. That's a good thing to do, but just surrounding yourself with good people takes you a long way. So with these people, these influencers online, obviously if they're doing some absolutely impermissible act, we have to see it the way it is. We can't be like, oh, he's hugging a woman who's not his wife. Oh, it's okay, I'm not going to judge him, this and that. Think of the act as bad, but you don't have to write in the comment section, you're a loser, you're going to go to hell, or you're a kafir, like a disbeliever. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. It's just people, they take it upon themselves to go into the comment section and just completely humiliate these social media influencers. And a lot of times they're new Muslims. Like, they've been Muslim for less than a year. They don't really have a good guide to teach them. And they're just like going in and telling them that, oh, you're going to go to hell and stuff like that. Like, just weigh yourself.
It's hard to leave like a haram lifestyle.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Living that for like 10 years.
Yeah, it's not easy, and it's just people, they don't understand. Like, even like we come from a Pakistani background, you and me, and our family, and you come from a Ghanaian background and Ghanaian Muslim background, and what's it called? Even in our countries, the Muslim populations are not perfect. There's a lot of like
Free mixing.
not even the free mixing. There's a whole lot of stuff going on which shouldn't be going on. Like, even like, people going to like shrines and stuff like that, and they just find it as normal religious acts. And, they're asking the Sufi who's buried there for his blessings and stuff. So this just going on a completely different end. There's people who make acts into religion, which are even from the religion. So that's just as bad as somebody doing something else which is bad. So, bad is bad.
I appreciate that. Razak, what's your thoughts on the influencer world and like people judging? Because I'm gonna be honest, that kind of scares me because I don't want to say I want fame, but everyone deep down wants to be famous, right? Like to a extent.
To an extent, yeah.
But that kind of scares me from like being a public figure. Like I kind of just want to make money and be quiet. That's why I'm trying to figure out how to make businesses. Like, and we can talk about that too, Muslim entrepreneurship. But the public figure thing scares me because there was even like, I'm not going to mention it, the name, because it's been like talked about so much, but there was a sister that tried to expose a brother. You saw that?
I was so lost. I had no idea what was happening.
Yeah.
And later on, people are like, "Oh, this is not what actually happened." But go ahead. No.
Yeah. She basically painted a false narrative, and then the brother had to come out and say, "This is not what happened."
Yeah, that was awesome.
That kind of scares me, but then at the same time, I'm like, okay, I know my position with Allah, so it doesn't really matter what people say.
Yeah.
But the comments, I feel like, can get to people. So like, what? Like I'm gonna be honest. I used to be one of those people in the comments. I used to be a keyboard warrior.
I watched the video.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's an old video where the sheikh, he was doing like second nikahs for men, and this is the news people. They had sent somebody before. He went and talked to the sheikh, and he said, "Oh, sheikh, I want to do a second nikah. In this country it's not allowed. Can you just do it? Like, legally it's not allowed. Can you do the religious one for you? He's like, come through." So they go to him and they show him the video, and so the sheikh is like, the imam of the masjid, he's like, "Okay, sue me." And I'm just thinking, he's like, "Okay, sue me. What are you gonna do about this?" And it's just, it made me laugh because I'm like, I saw, I think, the original post, and I saw the comment section over there, and they're just going after him. And then we have a, I'm not gonna talk about the actual Instagram page. I don't want to propagate or anything, but we have an Instagram page, and on that page there's a very famous female scholar in the United States. She's elderly. She's very knowledgeable. She was talking about taking care of your husband. She's like, there's nothing wrong with that. And the comment section in there, astaghfirullah, man, Muslim people are saying she's not a Muslim because she's saying that. And it's like this super hard feminist.
Did they say she's being oppressed?
Something like that, right? And she's one of the most influential women, honestly, Muslim women around the world. Yeah. And she's saying this, and there was Christian people coming into the thread saying she's actually speaking the truth.
Oh my God. Yeah.
She was saying that people are trying to get divorced over, like, the husband wanted tea and the woman doesn't want to give it, and she's like, I don't want to live with this guy anymore. She's like, you don't know what you're losing out on. He's trying to take care of you the best that he can, and you're just like, I don't want to do anything once he gets home. Yeah. And she was like, don't do that. She's like, don't ruin your house over something you watched online. Mm-hmm. And so, it goes back to the whole thing where people, the comment section is just like, it's like venom, honestly. And, I know you were going to ask him, I didn't want to take over, but it's just like, the comment section in every video you watch, whichever way it goes, it's just like, there's like snake venom, there's like ticks in there, there's scorpions in there, there's everything in there. Yeah. It's just like a cesspool.
Yeah. What's your overall thoughts on like the influencer, like judging and comments and
I don't know. There was a lot that was just said, so I'm trying to process as I think about what I was going to say. No, it's okay. No worries, bro. I think the biggest thing that I want to say first and foremost is there's levels to everything, right? Like everything in life has levels, even to the point to where Allah has told us that there's levels of Jannah and Jahannam, right? We know even in the earth itself, there's the outer crust, and then there's a deeper level, and then you go down, right? So everything has levels. Even when it comes to faith, even when it comes to professionalism, even when it comes to skill, even I don't care what you do, you start at a place and you finish at a different place than you started typically, right? It's just how things go. You start small, you grow old, right? We change. And so I think that when people forget that life is that change, life is that progression, life is that difference and that graduation from where you were to where you're going, people get caught up on where you are. And that's not the purpose of what we're doing here. Allah has put us on a journey. We started with a family so that we had support system to help us, to protect us when we couldn't protect ourselves, right? And then we grew strong enough to protect ourselves, and then we became the protectors for the ones that used to protect us, right? And so there's a growth and a graduation of self, in role, in identity, in beliefs, in everything, right? And so if you see that someone is at a stage that they are, first, I think you have to assess where you're coming from, even before I say what I'm going to say. If you are approaching someone to give advice, right? To add advice to someone, I'm big on words. To add advice to someone literally is to restrict their movement, right? Advice is something that restricts you, right? Vice grip means to restrict something, right? So if you add advice to someone, you have to add it with good intent, right? You have to add it from a good place. So if you know you're approaching someone and you haven't considered why you're approaching them in the first place, you shouldn't approach them at all, right? Because it could be that shaitan is causing a fitna through you.
You're talking about
Right.
intention.
Intention, right? But knowing your intention and being firm in it before you even approach them, right? My intention is to encourage this person towards good, right? And that's all I intend. And then going that way, you know, in your own self, you're not coming with any other agenda but good. Because some people come sometimes to judge others to make themselves feel good. There's a lot of people who like pride themselves on shrinking others to give themselves the illusion of grandeur, right? But that's not real either. And we talk about narcissism and psychopaths and sociopaths and all these other disorders, but we fail to recognize that those things have levels too. It's not that a person just wakes up and they're a sociopath. You start with little behaviors and those build up, right? Or it's a genetic thing, or it's a chemical thing in the brain, right? It could be anything, right? But when it starts, it doesn't just start. A parent doesn't just get dementia tomorrow, right? First it's, I can't find my keys. Then it's, what's the birthday again? So it just becomes more and more progressive. So people have to recognize that life is a journey, and everyone is on their journey, and everyone is on a path that Allah has set for them, that God has set for them, and they're going through that path, and maybe sometimes they go the wrong way, right? And you can clearly see they've gone the wrong way. But if you know when you're close up to something, it's not as easy to distinguish where you are on it as somebody far away. So they have to see I have a privilege. God has put me in a position to be able to help this person. Let me not be malicious. But most of the people online are in a position where they feel like they are the moral authority or supreme. And so they can judge. Right? But we know in our tradition that if we want mercy from God, we have to be merciful. If we want forgiveness, we have to forgive. That is the sunnah that we were taught. That's the way that we were trained. Right? So it's like, where did you learn that from? That didn't come from our tradition. So you have to see that you've even been influenced by something that's outside of our faith, that's outside of Allah's decree, right? So you need to check on yourself. Like, you need to start. Don't worry about it. You have a problem. You're just not seeing it because you're in it. But I'm outside telling you, now how receptive are you? Just like you were trying to make him receptive, and so on and so forth. And I've seen so many influencers who have an audience, who have a platform, who Allah has blessed to be captivating to others, who leave Islam as soon as they come into it because the Haram police attack them so hard that they're like, I never want to be associated with whatever these people are associated with. Yeah. Now all of these people are answerable for that.
Too much infighting.
You get what I'm saying? But even just the fact that there's, like, I don't know if this is the case with Christianity, maybe because it's lost its appeal as a true religion or a true faith. And so people don't feel the obligation to come in and correct. Or maybe I'm just not on that part of Instagram. But I know that every time a woman posts, I don't care if she posts a video explaining a hadith, people will come under women, where's your modesty? Where's your shame? Where's your this, that? Immediately they started, just because they see a woman and they feel as men that they have some kind of supremacy or moral authority over this person. And so they feel entitled to giving that opinion. And it's like, you can advise. You said what?
Don't watch it.
Right. So my thing is, did you check your intention? But when you came there, why are you even seeing this woman on your page? Did you follow her?
Yeah,
the brother you were talking about, I don't mean to interrupt, just to finish because I'm almost done. The brother you were talking about with the fitna, I don't know the story. I don't even know who this person is. But my question is, and really what I want to point out is, there's always something that happened that led to the door being open that this type of situation can happen. So I don't know the situation you're talking about, but I can already guess that he did something that he probably shouldn't have done, right? That led to this person then being able to use that thing against him, right? Or expose him. Because how could this person have dirt on you if you haven't gone there?
Yeah, I think he admitted to, like, what he said, like, admitted to messaging the person.
You see what I'm saying? So if he can say that, he went in a DM or something like this. Okay, so if he can say that, then he at least he recognizes I also had it. So he's not focused so much on her thing as let me make sure I don't do my thing again.
He wasn't. He actually didn't.
I think what it was he was talking with her, which he shouldn't have been. From what I understand.
Okay.
On Instagram, and they were discussing.
Single mother thing.
He wanted to marry. That's what he said. He was thinking of marrying.
He was interested in this sister.
No, he wasn't interested in her. That's where the things got loopy. Is he actually wasn't interested in her?
Yeah.
He was just talking to her and asking her, I guess, her opinion.
Yeah, 'cause
on
she's a single
marrying
mother.
a single mother, and and then marrying like a lady who hasn't been married before for the sake of his family and culture. And he wasn't even talking about abandoning the single mother. I think.
Yeah.
I think he was just trying to.
She took it like certain parts.
And
to,
yeah,
like,
she
create a
sort
narrative.
of molded it to create a story, and it's just.
So I guess who is she for him to be asking her?
She has like a page
Is she an
about.
influencer too?
Yeah, her whole page is about being a Muslim single mother,
Oh, that's
and
not good for her. I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah, we don't
That's
know
not
the whole
I
story
don't know.
because it's never gonna make any sense.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's just
Things
everybody
are
just
avoided.
tossing everything. Yeah.
That's my whole point. Like most of the times people
Yeah.
get in there, they're griping, they're doing all this stuff. They have their own faults that they're overlooking
Yeah.
while they're so focused on somebody else. Even us here talking about other people, right? We have things that we could be talking about our own faults right now. We could be saying, brothers, how can you avoid spending so much time, screen time, in TV or right? That could be the topic here.
Yeah.
That would take us away from focusing on them and focusing on us, and that's really where we should be spending the energy, right?
Yeah.
To me, so that's how I see it.
Exactly. I think you hit the nail on the head. Like we should, instead of judging other Muslims, look at it within yourself.
It should be a reminder for you when you see your brother fall. Like, may Allah protect me from that is what you should say, right? You should pray for them and you should pray against that for yourself, right? You should say, may Allah keep me far from that and may Allah help you get over that or get out of that, right? It should be the attitude.
Yeah.
And then you help if you can help. If you can't, your dua is good.
There was a post I reposted on my story. Allah save me from committing the sins which I
love
tell
that post.
people not
That's
to
right.
do.
Yeah, I love that post. That's right. Yeah.